All right, I want to hop on here, make this short video on Facebook ads objections, okay? And kind of maybe walk through some objections that pastors and we've talked to some people that they have towards Facebook ads and using them from what we do is called a digital tract to give out to our community and to reach people in our community and get them in church. If you don't know me, my name's Dalton, founder of GM Baptist Outreach. And if you would do us a favor, like and subscribe to the channel. And we want to be posting tons of stuff over time to help churches reach their community and build their online presence in doing so. But I want to say, just hop on here about some objections that I hear from pastors, and working with pastors and pastors reaching out to us, why they don't use Facebook ads or why they don't want to use Facebook ads to reach their communities. And we got 4 of them here, and we're just going to break them down one by one and kind of go through them. I'm going to try to make this video not very long. But one of the objections is, number one up here is Facebook is wicked and bad. So, I want to answer this, appropriately and wisely. But number one, I understand Facebook can be used for bad. It can be a tool just like many other tools that can be used corruptly. You can corrupt anything. Man corrupts, churches. There's churches that are all about the money. There's pastors that are in it for the money, and they're, send me a dollar, and God will heal you. You know what I mean? They use the name of Christ wickedly. You can use anything corruptly, and we know Facebook can be used for bad. Facebook can be very time consuming in people's lives, and it can eat up their time for God that they can spend with God and use for God. And so it can be a time consuming thing. It can be used for gossip. It can be used to where people can gossip about other people and slander other people, and rumors can get started. Facebook can be used in building unwise relationships with people. There's no doubt that many adulteries have taken place on Facebook, and bad relationships have started on Facebook that have hurt people's lives. And so Facebook absolutely can be used for bad. But I want to give 3 answers to this objection of why people don't use Facebook, because it can be used for bad. And the first one is, number one, that it's the largest mission field probably in the world. Facebook has billions and billions of users. And I actually wanted to hop over here and look at a little statistic real quick. But even as of 2018 to 2027, the estimated statistic for just America is, and this is conservative, is for 254.26 million users. Okay. And so just in America, and here's another statistic, 239 million people just in America are on Facebook. Okay. That's a lot of people, and that's millions of people. In the world, it's billions. Okay. So, number one, it's a large mission field. Jesus said, go in all the world and preach the gospel. All the world is on Facebook. And if you look over here at another statistic, the average user spends 20 hours per month using Facebook on the Android app, which is just on the Android phone. That's not including the iPhone statistics, but 20 hours per month. Okay, and then there's another one down here where the average user spends 2 hours and 31 minutes a day on Facebook. That's 2 hours, 2.5 hours. The average person that has a Facebook account is literally added up throughout the day, spends about 2.5 hours on Facebook. That's a lot of time. Okay, I ain't justifying it. I ain't saying it's good. You should be spending that much time on social media. But what I am saying is, people are on Facebook all the time. This world's on Facebook. Okay, it is a large mission field. There's tons of people on social media, and as far as us reaching out and getting the gospel to people and getting people in church, what better place to go than on Facebook, because everyone's there. Okay, so number one, it's a large mission field. Number two, that objection of Facebook being bad, so I don't want to be on it, to me is kind of it can kind of be, and I don't want to say this arrogantly, but I think it can kind of be a crazy statement if you really think about it. Because what if a missionary came to you and a missionary's like, I know there's a lot of people in Thailand that are lost in that 1040 window. And I know they're lost and they need the gospel. They're I think it's 85% Buddhist. We work with a good bit of missionaries as far as in Thailand, and I think like 85% of them is Buddhist. They still sell little idols on the street corners over there, and little gods. And so, what if a missionary was like, what, I don't want to be around that wickedness. I don't believe in what they stand for. I don't believe in their idol worshiping pagan gods. I don't want nothing to do with them, so I'm not going to go over there to try and reach them just because I don't agree with what they stand for and what takes place over there. If a missionary was to say that, I promise 9 out of 10, probably 10 out of 10 pastors was going to say, well, that's why you're going over there, to reach them with the gospel, to get Christ to them. They're wicked, savage people that need Christ. You know what I mean? The idea is that they don't have the gospel, so they need Christ. And so that's why you're going over there. So the missionary, that's the average statement everyone would say to that missionary, is that, you're going over there for that reason. Well, what's the difference between Facebook being a large mission field where people are on it, and you saying it is wicked? Sorry about that. My son was beating on the door. But the average person would tell the missionary, he needs to go over there for that. Facebook is the same way. Yes, there's corruption on it and it can be used corruptly, but it's a large mission field, and we ought to still go to there to reach people, to get people in church, to get the gospel to people. And so, it's a large mission field, and it would be crazy for us not to usurp the opportunity to reach lost souls. And thirdly, on that first point of Facebook being wicked, is that the younger generation is on social media, and you're not going to change that. You're not going to, over time, it's just going to increase and increase, and that's just the way the world is. All right, the internet's here, and it's here to stay. It's not going nowhere. As time goes on, more and more and more, especially as the younger generation gets older, more and more people is going to be on social media. Okay. So, you might as well get used to it being around. And the idea is it's going to increase even more. So we might as well start reaching and using it for the glory of God to reach the younger generation with the gospel of Christ. As long as we're not compromising the truth, I don't see where the problem would be with using Facebook. So number 2 is, okay, but how many actually stick and stay? So how many actually stick and stay out of running Facebook ads? All right, like you're running these Facebook ads, visitors are coming to our church, but how many of them actually stay? I've had pastors ask me that, and I understand the question. I understand why they ask, because they don't want to spend money on it, and if it's not gonna, have people stay for the long term. But let me just answer that question like this: the amount of people that's going to stay off of Facebook ads is the exact same amount that's going to stay off of any other outreach method you use, whether it's door knocking. And we believe in door knocking. We knock on doors at our church. I pastor a church, if you don't know, pastor Independent Baptist Church. We knock on doors. We give out gospel tracts everywhere in the town. We invite our family. We invite friends. We use every door direct mails. We write letters to new move-ins in our area. We have many different ways of outreach that we do in our community. So, we're all for it. But the aspect is running Facebook ads is the exact same amount that stay through our Facebook ads. It's the same amount that stays through every other outreach. You just never know. People are people. The real question is if they're not staying, if no one stays from any of your outreach, it could be something wrong with your church. Because at the end of the day, there is people out there that still want the truth, and there's people out there that are lost, and they still will receive the gospel, and they'll still get saved, and they'll still grow in Christians. We have people get saved and grow as Christians, all the time. Our church is growing, and the aspect is, all we do is preach truth. We don't compromise anything. But I truly do believe if no one's staying at your church, the problem, it might be, what are you doing when they come? I mean, do they feel welcome? Are you trying to love people and care about them, acknowledge people, and try and show them that you really care about their eternal soul? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the reason could be. I'm just saying, the idea of how many actually stick and stay, that question could be on your side of why ain't they sticking and staying, but Facebook ads is the same as any other method of outreach. And so we have personally more people come from our Facebook ads than we do anything else we do, whether it's door knocking or anything. And but the aspect is the same. You just never know. We just pray that God does work in their hearts to, that's real, and they find something real in the church and they stick and stay. And God does it. So, that question is kind of, to me, just, a crazy question too, if you really think about it sometimes. But number three is we have done Facebook ads and didn't see any results. Okay. So yeah, I see what people, I know when people ask that question, we've done Facebook ads and haven't seen any results. I see why people say that, well, we've done them before and haven't seen any results. But the truth of the matter is this, the average pastor or the average church that has done Facebook ads and didn't see no results, a lot of times when you ask them a Facebook ad, if you get down to it, they're really talking about boosting a post. Okay. Basically that gets engagements and clicks and stuff. So boosting a post is a Facebook ad technically, but it's not a Facebook ad like we run or like any other churches we work with run. And a boosted post basically just gets the post to everyone who follows your page or has visited your Facebook page, and it gets it out to more people like that. But as far as any action being taken from a boosted post, nobody can take action. So it's really not the same thing. The way we run our ads, it prompts people to take action, to plan a visit, fill out a form, grab their name from their email, their follow-up sequence, builds that relationship. It's completely different than boosting a post. So, to say that we didn't see any results is kind of another one of those questions where it's like, yeah, I understand you probably didn't see any results, but you probably weren't doing it the right way. You probably didn't know what you was doing when you was running a Facebook ad. And that's why it's hard, when it comes to that, to get past that question of, just give us a shot or give it a shot, to see if you can get different results doing it this way. They just have to take that step of faith to try it. But the truth of the matter is most people who say they didn't get results out of Facebook ads are people who either didn't really know what they were doing when they set up their campaigns, or they're talking about a boosted post, which is a lot different than a lead generation Facebook campaign that collects their information. And we have a whole system in the back end that follows up, builds that relationship. And if you are interested in learning more about that system, I'll post a video in the description that you can go watch. And we have a video where we break down kind of what we do. But yeah, so number three is that's kind of the answer. They probably just weren't getting it done right, and we try and explain them to that. Most of the time when we explain that to pastors, they'll be like, yeah, it was a boosted post, and then we kind of explain how ours is different and stuff, and they're like, okay, yeah, well that definitely makes sense. We didn't do it that way. So anyways, that's the answer for number three. And going back up to number two real quick, I actually missed something. I wrote something down I wanted to say about that, about how many actually stick and stay. The answer, is the same of, same as any other outreach. But, I wanted to say this because this is my thoughts on the matter when it comes to how many actually stick and stay. Even if just one lost soul came to your church and heard a clear presentation of the gospel, to me, it is a dime well spent, for them to hear the gospel, even if just one. Philip went way out into the desert for just one person to witness to one soul. So the idea is not on a number. You ought to be looking at a soul when you ask yourself that question. Okay. So I just wanted to get back up to that because that dawned on me that I never touched on that. So number three, that's the answer for the Facebook ads one. Number four, objection is they cost too much. So they cost a little bit of money to run Facebook ads. So I agree, they do cost money. But the truth of the matter is when it comes to outreach, it's probably one of the cheaper methods of outreach out there. So let me explain. So we do every door direct mail. That's a big outreach method. Lots of churches do those. But every door direct mail are expensive. And we spend thousands of dollars, probably $3,000 every year we do it. And we send about 10,000 flyers out. Spend about $3,000, even more, on outreach. And to me, it's a dime well spent. We've seen people come to church through them. And, we've seen fruit from them. And so, to me, I think every dime of it is spent well. So, I don't regret it at all. But what I do say is we see way more visitors from Facebook ads at way cheaper of a cost. So like the ROI, the return on the investment with the Facebook ads is way cheaper comparably to every door direct mail, which is a popular way of outreach. But Facebook ads is actually very cheap. As far as, especially what we're seeing anywhere from $5 to $15 to $20 per planned visit is what it costs. So it's kind of like, $15 might get one family to plan a visit to your church. All right. And you might get, you just do the math, depending on how much you spend that month. You might get 20, 30, 40 people planned visits to your church that month. And at 30% show rate, you're probably going to see anywhere from $5 to 8 families probably show up out of that, and 30% actually, maybe that's a little less, 3 to 5. You might see 3 to 5 families show up that month. So that could be anywhere from 10 to 15 people based on the family. Because most of the people that plan visits are families. You might have a couple people plan visits that are only one person that are planning on coming, but the truth of the matter is most of them are families. Husband, wife, kids, and so the aspect of it is they're a lot cheaper. You might spend $200-300 a month, and you might see 5 to 10 visitors that month off of just spending like $300. Okay, so the idea of it costing too much, it really don't cost a ton. It's actually really cheap, comparably speaking, to many other outreach methods. But let me also say it like this on the cost aspect, because I get it. Some churches are really small and they don't have any budget for this kind of stuff. Okay, and we're actually working in the company. Our goal is, as churches sign up with us and stuff, that we can start maybe doing mission work to smaller churches. We have already done it a little bit in the past. But our goal is to do that a lot more, to be able to run ads for free and actually pay for the ad spend for smaller churches and help them, reach people in their community that can't afford it. So I get that, the cost to some churches, it really does matter. But number two, the cost to some churches, it really doesn't matter. They really do got the money. They just don't want to spend money on Facebook ads to reach their community because it costs money. And they'd rather just, knock on doors, pass out tracts for free. And I get that. We knock on doors, pass out tracts and everything. But the truth of the matter is this: from a missions-minded point of view, there's tons of churches that can financially afford to pay, a few $100s a month if they wanted to put in Facebook ads to reach their community. They spend thousands and thousands on missions, foreign missions. Now, I'm for foreign missions. Our church supports tons of foreign missions. I believe in it. I believe it's God's method to reach the world. I think, you ought to support foreign missions. We do it. So I'm not saying knocking down on foreign missions at all. We believe in it. But there's tons of churches that they won't spend a dime to reach their community. But they'll spend thousands on foreign missions to reach the world, which I'm for. But personally, I feel that you ought to spend money as well to reach your own community. Shame on us if we're going to, spend tons of money to reach people all around the world, but there's people dying and going to hell right there in our own town, right next to us, where our church is, and we're not willing to spend a dime or spend a little bit of money to reach people in our own community. When people say that they cost money, even though they can afford it, they just don't want to spend money into Facebook ads. To me, it's just crazy, because there is, that you won't spend money to reach your own community. Your own community is your mission field. Okay. So a lot of times it's not that they cost too much. It's not that the churches can't afford to pay for it. It's that they're just not willing, for some reason, to spend money. They'll spend thousands to reach the world, but they won't spend a dime to reach their own communities. So my mindset is this, on that answer of they cost too much. If your church probably can afford it, or if they can't, then I completely understand. But if they can afford it, the truth of the matter is to stop looking at it as a price to run Facebook ads. Start looking at it as an opportunity to reach lost souls with the gospel, as a mission work. Start looking at it as, okay, this is our foreign mission field right here in our own community, and look at it as a cost of missions. You don't have to take it out of the missions, but just look at it as a cost of reaching people with the gospel. Okay, and when you look at it like that, it really doesn't cost that much. It really doesn't cost much at all when you compare it to a lost soul hearing the gospel and being saved. So anyways, that's just a little chat I wanted to get on here and just kind of walk through some objections that I hear with talking to pastors and stuff about reaching people in their communities with Facebook ads and anyways. So, but if you have any questions, if you'd like to know a little bit more about what we do or anything, I'll put a calendar link below. You can book a discovery call and we can hop on a call and kind of just talk to you about what we do and walk you through some of the things that we do to help churches reach their community and see visitors to their church. And also I'll put some other videos and stuff below walking through our system and some things of that nature. So anyways, that's enough for this video. Hope y'all have a blessed day.